Now let's go down and focus on the coding area. And you can see when we created our program, the first set of lines we see are comment lines. And we were presented with 7 comment lines that ideally can be used to start commenting your program. Now, comments in ABAP can appear in 2 ways. First of all, we see an asterisk at the start of a line. If you put an asterisk in there, it turns everything to the right of the asterisk into a comment. And note, it's important that the asterisk has to be in the first column. If you make it in the second column or beyond, it's no longer a comment. The other way of writing a comment is within a line itself. So we can go to the end of this report line, insert a few spaces, then when we do the double quotes, everything to the right turns into a comment. This becomes really useful so you can comment your programs line by line, or at the very least a few lines of comments for each section of your program. So let's delete that. The next line of code that we see starts with the word report, and this is called a statement, and the report statement is always the first statement in any executable program we create. The statement itself is then followed by the program name that we created. Then the statement line is terminated with a full stop. Now the full stop is way beyond the end of the actual program name. Doesn't really matter where it appears as long as it appears after the program name. Could appear there, could appear halfway, could appear right at the end. Doesn't really matter. But what is important to note is that every statement in ABAP must finish with the full stop or period. This allows your statement to take up as many lines in the editor as you wish. So our report statement could in effect be like that. As long as we got the period at the end of the statement, everything will be fine. It's the period that says when the statement is finished. Now, just before we get on to writing our first piece of code, I'll just tell you about the help options. If you place your cursor on any ABAP statement, you can then press this help on button, which we discussed earlier. It'll then bring up a window automatically filling in the keyword, and all you need to do is press the continue button, and the system will display help on that specific statement and give you an explanation of what it is used for and the syntax. So I'll click the continue button, and up pops the ABAP help, and you can see it's navigated direct to the report statement and tells you all the different additions that you can add in there. And this goes for every single ABAP statement within an SAP system. Now, as with SAP, there's always more than one way of doing things. So what you can do as well is just click on the statement and then just press the F1 key. And you'll notice it misses out that first step, that middle screen that we were shown. Now, one other little tip I'll give you right now, which I found really useful when I was learning ABAP, is a new transaction. So we'll open up a new session, and this transaction is called ABAP Docu, ABAP DOCU. And this is SAP's ABAP documentation with examples. So if you navigate the tree view on the left hand side and double click on any of the entries, this transaction will give you example code that you can use to base your own code on. You can either copy and paste it into your own ABAP editor or play around with it directly here. So we can execute this code by clicking on the execute button and the example program will run. This is a really good transaction to help you with learning ABAP because it gives endless examples of how to use the different statements. So let's go back to our program now. And what we will do is enter our first line of code. So what I'll do first is just put our report statement back to how it should look. Then on a new line, key in the write statement followed by hello SAP world. If you've done programming before, I'm sure you'll be familiar with that statement. So have a guess what the write statement will do. It's fairly easy. It will write whatever we put in quotes to the output window. Here we're asking it to output the text hello SAP world. The write statement looks very simple, and it is, but there are lots of different additions you can add to it to help format the output. We'll come to those in a little while. But right now, no doubt you're eager to see this report run and see the spectacular output. So what we'll do is first of all save our program. Once it's saved, we can then check the syntax of our program. Everything is correct. Then we need to activate the program. And once it's activated, you can see the status has changed. And then we're ready to test it. So just press the test button. And there we can see our report title and then the text we asked it to output. How good's that? You've written your first program, all with adding just one line of code. Now to celebrate, go grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever your preference is, because we've got a long way to go.